Hello everyone. It's good to see you. Welcome to another episode of the Business of African Fashion podcast. I'm really excited to be here today. I am enjoying season 2 so far. We've been recording episodes, talking to guests, and um, the seasons are recorded a long time in advance. So I've really enjoyed the process of talking to the guests, and everyone's so excited. And I am excited because this platform really is a dream child for me, and it's something that I'm really passionate about. So I'm just really grateful for the opportunity to be able to be here, to share, to talk to you all, and to build and grow together. So in today's episode, we will be talking about building or making a fashion business plan. Now, business plans are really essential for any business in general because it's like a map, right? So imagine if you were traveling from point A to point B and you didn't have a map or any idea of how to get from where you are to where you're trying to get to, it wouldn't be something that would be feasible. So that's the equivalent of what a business plan is. It's essentially a map that you draw on your own about where you want your business to go and kind of what your vision is for your brand, for your business, for your fashion endeavors and all of that. So I'm really excited today. I've put together a little PDF, a free template for fashion businesses that can help you map out this journey, that can help you look at your plan, the things that you need to take into consideration, the questions that you need to ask. And I'm really excited to share that with you. The link to this free resource will be in the show notes. So make sure that you click on that link and access this template for free. It is PDF, so you can download it, you can edit, you can have it on your phone, you can access it anytime. So let's just jump right in. And I'm going to, if you're watching on YouTube, hey. So I'm really excited that, this season I'm doing more video episodes and I'm getting to, show you all more of my personality and just be more involved and interactive, which I really love. And, this is great for community as well. And speaking of community, if you haven't yet joined our community on Mighty Networks, make sure that you click the link in the show notes or on YouTube in the description box to join the Mighty Networks community. It is free and it's a community of fellow fashion entrepreneurs just like yourself who are going on this journey. And there's a saying that says, if you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go with other people. And that's really the premise and the idea behind this business of African fashion community that we are building, is to encourage one another to go together so that we can all go far, right? We don't just want to go fast and burn out. We want to pace ourselves in order to ensure that we are building the best businesses that we have envisioned, that we have dreamt, and that we are aspiring to build. And that's what the business plan that we're talking about today comes in as well. So I'm going to share my screen so that you all can see the business plan and we can get right into it. All right. So business plan template for African fashion businesses. And this again, link will be in the show notes or in the description box. Make sure that you get one for yourself and you can follow along with yours, or you can follow along with the video without downloading, or you can fill in the questions right as we're walking through and right as we are discussing. And for those on YouTube, if you have any comments, make sure that you just leave that in the comment box and I will be sure to respond and engage in the conversation. Or you can keep your questions until the end of the episode as well. Either way works for me. All right. So I do want to give a disclaimer before we jump into the episode. I think many of you who have listened to season 1 know that I am an accountant by trade, but I do want to give this disclaimer that this information is not supposed to be considered as business or financial advice. It's merely for informational purposes and for use by a general audience. So nobody should sue me, all right? This is just for informational purposes. If you are looking for specific information regarding your personal business or your personal finances, my advice would be to consult a financial expert. that's going to give you information that is specifically tailored for you. All the information that will be shared on this podcast and this episode is not intended for, business use. It's just general information for a general audience. All right. So, how to use this template. So, first of all, I want to welcome you to this template because I really took my time with this template. I'm so excited to share with you all. This is definitely a critical step in mapping out your idea for your brand, just putting your thoughts, your plans, your vision to paper, because there's something about writing things down, there's something about typing things out and just getting them from here onto a different platform, whether that's paper, on your computer, on your phone, your tablet, your iPad. I don't know what else is out there that people used to, take notes. So I'm really excited that you're doing that. I do want to say that when we make a business plan, we are making a lot of assumptions. We're assuming a lot of things. We're assuming that things will work a certain way. We're assuming that we will have certain resources. So I do want you to keep in mind that this business plan is not a final thing. You don't make it today and then, stick to it for the next 10, 25, 15 years of your business. Your business plan will continue to evolve and grow as you test the assumptions that you put in there. And whatever you put in this business plan, when you step out into your business, you will test them. Some of these assumptions will be proven false and some of them will be proven true. The ones that are proven false, you can abandon those and say, hey, I tried that, it didn't work. And the ones that are proven true, the ones that do work, you can stick to that and continue using those in the future. So I just want to make sure that we are clear about what the business plan is all about. And I want you to refer to this business plan and update often as you test things out. Take notes of the things that work and take notes of things that, may not work, because you're going to have both. And I also want us to remember as we're making this business plan that dreams are free. You don't have to pay a single naira, dollar, CDs, any currency that you're operating in. You don't have to pay a single one of those to dream. So I hope that within these pages you dream big and that you write out the vision that, sometimes you have visions that you're even too afraid to share with people because they just seem so grandiose and sometimes they seem impossible. But I encourage you to dream big. Dream as big as you can dream, because what's the worst that will happen, right? They're free and you don't, like, it's just putting it down. So I encourage you to do that. And even after you fill out this business template, ensure that you continue to research your industry, continue to research your niche, and keep yourself updated on all the opportunities that are around you so that you can take advantage of those as well. So let's jump into the business plan template. All right. So the first thing that you want to do with this business plan is you want to craft the overall idea or overall, I guess, how do I say this? The overall ambience, or some people would say vibe, the overall ambience of your brand. You want to craft that, right? So you want to say, what is our mission? What is the reason that you have created or will create this business, right? Ideally, in business, you're creating something in order to solve a problem, right? So that will be your mission. Why are you creating this brand or this business? What problem are you solving? What is the reason that you have created or will create this business? And the next thing that you want to consider is, what is your vision for this business? So this is where, dreaming big comes in. So your vision for this business is what you see in the next 20, 25, 30 years, or honestly, even in the next 10 to 5 years, what your vision is for the business, the impacts that the business will have on the community, on the world, and on its customers. And also, you want to think about a tagline. So a tagline is just something that helps people remember your brand, something that differentiates your brand from every other person out there. So, for example, Nike, right? When you hear just do it, that's Nike. When you see that check, that's Nike. So, take a few moments, write down what your mission is, the reason you've created the brand, or problem that you're trying to solve. Write down what your vision is for the business. And for this vision, I really want you to dream big. Like, imagine what your business can be. There are no limits on this. Nobody's going to check you or say you're dreaming too big. Dreams are free. It doesn't cost you anything. So write down what your vision is for your business and also a tagline. This tagline might take a little refining. So, whatever comes to your head, just write it down. It doesn't even have to be a complete sentence, it can just be words that describe your brand, right? So, like classy, elegant, bespoke, quality, these are different things that you can merge together to be your tagline. So, take a few minutes, think about that, write it down, and we can move on to the next page. All right, we're jumping into the good stuff. So now we're going to talk about market analysis, right? So when you think about creating a business, you're solving a problem. There are certain people that you're targeting to reach, right? So let's be clear, you can't create a business or a fashion brand that's for everybody. I say all the time that human beings wear clothes, but at the end of the day, everybody may not be your customers. Everybody may not um, resonate with the message of your brand or with the message that you're trying to put out, or even the colors of your brand or the types of designs or the types of styles that you make. So you have to be very, very, very clear about who your business targets. You have to create a profile for this person. So we're going to use our dreaming big um I guess skill once again. So I want you to close your eyes and imagine the person who is using your product. Imagine the person who is buying from your brand. What is the person's name? Where are they from? Where do they live? Where do they work? What do they enjoy doing? What are their passions? Like, get really, really, really specific about who the person is that is your target audience. And take your time with this too, and it's okay if it evolves and if it changes with your brand. But wherever you are right now, based on the problem that you're solving, you have to imagine the profile of the person that you are creating this business for. So the next thing that a lot of people don't like to talk about is competitors, right? So I know this, the saying is like, you're not competing against anybody, you're competing against who you were yesterday. While all of those things are true, you still have competitors, okay? And we have to be crystal clear about who those people are, and we want to make sure that we are aware of them and that they are in our radar. So do some research. Who are people who are doing the exact same thing or similar to what you want to do? Who are your competitors? Who are the people who your ideal audience or your ideal customers might have as an option, you know, in I guess like at par with you, right? So let me try to think of an example. If you think about Nike and Adidas, right? So those are competitors. They have different messages and they have different taglines and they have probably different problems that they're trying to solve, but at the end of the day, to the consumer, those two brands are, similar options. So you want to be very specific in thinking about who your competitors are, and don't shy away. Go look them up, look at their social media profile. um Up to you if you want to follow them, but just observe what they're doing, look at their website, and try to give yourself an idea of who you are competing against. Or will I say competing against? I guess, let me pick my words. Just try to get an idea of who else is in the industry and who else is in the market with you so that you're aware of what's going on in your market. Don't necessarily go in with the mindset of like, we're butting heads or, it's me against you, right? Because that may not be your approach, but it's okay and it's good to be aware of who all is in the same industry that you're in, right? So, and that brings me to the next thing is what's your competitive advantage? And this is so, so, so important because your competitive advantage is basically what sets you apart in that ocean of, your competitors. What is different about you? What is quirky about you? What do you do well? What does your business do well? Right? So if you're a tailor and you make clothes for people, right? And there's like 15 other tailors in your town or in your city. What do you do differently that will make customers pick your business over their business, right? Maybe it's efficiency, right? Maybe it's that you're upfront to people because, and I'm going to have a complete different episode about this. There's the, I guess, idea that African tailors, Nigerian tailors are not very, very reliable. And I am on a mission to change that. Okay. So if you as a tailor, what sets you apart from your competitors is that you're upfront to people, that you let them know ahead of time, I can't take your fabric because I won't be able to complete it. That's a competitive advantage. That sets you apart. Maybe yours is efficiency, right? As a tailor, if you tell your customers, I will have this dress to you in 2 weeks, that it's ready in 2 weeks, that's your competitive advantage. So make sure that you are clear on what your competitive advantage is. And if you don't know it right now, that's okay. Just start brainstorming about what can my brand do differently that the consumer would appreciate, that would make their lives much easier, right? Because if we think about a company like Amazon, so Amazon is a company that just efficiency and convenience, I think, are two words that describe Amazon. Whatever you want in this life, they will get it to you efficiently and conveniently. So that's their competitive advantage. That's what sets them apart from a different, company that just sells a bunch of stuff but isn't able to get it delivered efficiently and conveniently like Amazon does. So I really want us to take that into consideration. And my light just went off. So let me turn that back on. Let me see. Okay, there we go. All right. So we want to really be clear about what our competitive advantage is because, it's very important and it will help your brand to stand out. The next thing that we want to think about is within this industry that you're operating in, what is your niche? What my ring light keeps going off. I'm so sorry, y'all, but let me see if I can turn it back on. Okay, let me see what's going on. Okay. Oh. See, things happen. You make assumptions like your ring light will work, but sometimes it doesn't work. Let's see. Okay, I don't know what's going on. Um, so okay. Hopefully this sticks around. Yeah, okay. So ring light is deciding not to work. I'm actually not sure what to do. Oh my goodness. Give me a second. Okay, so we're just going to continue without that ring light. Hopefully y'all can still see me and it's not too dark. But yeah, so within your industry, you want to be clear about what your niche is. So the fashion industry is like wide and it's, there's so much, like there's many different niches that you can decide to pick as yours. And you need to be crystal clear about what your niche is in that industry. Are you catering to women? Are you catering to men? Are you catering to children? And I don't mean to just, divide the industry by gender. I'm just using these as examples. It is possible for you to cater to both men and women, but you need to be very clear about what it is that you do. Do you make ready to wear? Do you make couture? Do you make casual clothes? Do you make dressy clothes? If you're, operating in Nigeria, do you specifically do ashwebi? Do you do just weddings? Do you do like, just everyday Ankara or, whatever um, couture or bespoke styles that people want? You need to be very clear about what your niche is within that industry. I use myself as an example. Podcasting is a huge industry, right? But I've picked fashion. And even within fashion podcasting, that's still very, very big. But I've specifically niched down to say I'm going to be talking about African fashion. And I haven't just stopped there. I've specifically niched down even more and said I'm going to be talking about the business side of African fashion. So you want to make sure it's like digging, right? So you don't want to just spread all your seed all over like this plot of land. You want to be specific and just, I guess, dig and dig and dig, and then you plant your seed because you know that this is specifically what you want to do and the place that you've decided to focus on. So, the next thing that we're going to talk about is what is your specific opportunity within this market. So, this is you really thinking about, again, back to the problem that you're solving, is what opportunity is presenting itself for me in this market and how can I take advantage of that. So basically, market analysis is just you being aware of everything that's happening in your market. It's you just, I guess, scoping the market, looking at it from a bird's eye view and saying what is going on in this market and how do I fit into this space, right? What is going on in the market and how do I meaning my brand, my business, how do we fit into this market? So you want to really make sure that in your market analysis, you're super clear about what's going on in the market and how you and your brand are going to fit in. I've said a lot, so take your time and fill out this portion of the plan, and then we can move on to the next page. All right. So next thing we're going to talk about in the plan on slide 5 is marketing. So marketing is the tool that drives sales. Marketing is the vehicle that drives sales. Without marketing, you can't have sales, but if you want to have the, I guess, optimum amount of sales, you need a marketing plan. And I'm not a marketing expert, but from what I know that you need to be clear about what marketing channels you're going to use to get your message, your product, your service to the people that it's for. So you need to be very clear about what channels you're going to use for your marketing. Is that going to be digital? Is it going to be more word of mouth? Is it going to be more referrals? Is it going to be more in person? Right. So you have to be really clear. And even when you decide, okay, it's going to be digital, you have to, if you're doing social media marketing, you have to decide what platform you want to use. And can I just be honest with y'all? One thing that just clicked to me, because with this platform, I've been doing a lot of, things online. I'm on YouTube, I'm on podcast apps, we're on Instagram, but I just realized, wait, Victory, why aren't we taking advantage of in-person marketing? Why am I not going to, fashion events, fashion shows and fashion weeks and, introducing myself to people and having conversations. So that's something that I just realized and I'm like, wow, I can really do that. The pandemic is over, outside is open. So I'm really, really excited because that's something that I'm planning to do over the next couple of weeks, over the next couple of months. And even as this platform continues to grow, I intend to, be outside networking. So make sure that you're clear about what your marketing channel is going to be and don't focus only on online. There is still marketing that can be done in person through word of mouth, right? So let's make sure that we also include that. And you also have to be intentional. Y'all know I love to talk about money, okay? So you have to be intentional about how much is going to cost you to market the business. How much money do you have in your budget for marketing? If you are into paying for ads, how much resources do you have to pay for ads? If you're not interested in paying for ads, right? That marketing money, can you use it for something else? Do you need to make flyers? Do you need to print business cards? Do you need to, do whatever you can in alignment with your marketing plan and the marketing channels that you've picked in order to get your brand to where you want it to go. So, this next question is so very important. We need to define what success will mean for your business. And this question is quite deep. So, I don't expect it to be answered like even in a day or, just quickly off the top of your head. This is a question that really requires you taking the time to think about what success means for you and what success will mean for your business. For some people, success for their business means a lot of social media followers. For some people, success means a lot of sales. For some people, success means huge profits. For some people, success means impacting people's lives. For some people, success means the relationship that they have with their employees, right? So you have to be very, very, very clear about what success will mean for your business. And this will serve as your North Star. So you know where you're headed and you don't get swayed by every trend and every person that seems to be successful that you see, right? You're clear about what success means to you, and that way it helps you, stay grounded and true to what your definition of success is, which is useful for you in the long run. So I really want you take your time with question 3 because it's quite deep. So the last question in the marketing plan is, what key performance indicators will I use to measure my success? So when we've defined what success means to us, what success means for the brand, we also need to be clear about what KPIs we will use to measure success. So, for someone whose definition of success is profit, right, their KPI will be probably how much profit did we make in January, how much profit did we make in March, how much profit did we make in Q1, how much profit did we make in Q2, and on like that. And whatever success means for your brand, you have to define the key performance indicators that you will use to measure success. And I know I'm throwing around a lot of terms. And I want to make sure that I'm not just saying things that fly over your head. So if any of these terms don't quite make sense, or you're not clear about how to craft them, or you just need a little bit extra help, make sure that you post that in the community, which is where we're going to have more conversations and dive deeper into these topics, help one another to grow and to learn. Just post in the community, hey, what does KPI mean? Or even share your KPIs. You can share that without giving away your whole business plan, and just say, these are my KPIs. What do y'all think? We always keep it positive and, encouraging in there. So make sure that you are seeking the support and the help that you need. And we'll be happy to have you in the community and share and grow together. So I'm going to move on now to the next page in the slide. Very important, logistics and operations. So this is basically more on the back end of the business, right? Because I think one thing that we need to be very, very, very clear about is that a business can look pretty on the outside, but behind the scenes is chaotic, okay? And we don't want to build businesses like that because, one, they're not sustainable, and two, they just burn you out after a while, right? So we want to really make sure that we're clear about what's happening behind the scenes. All right, have you ever gone to someone's house, right? And on the outside, it just looks so pretty, or in the living room, everywhere looks clean. But then, like, let's say you're just walking past like a veranda or something, or like a hallway, and you just take a peek into the room, or the door is like slightly open, and you're like, it's a mess back there. What is going on? Right? So we don't want our businesses to be like that. And we want to make sure that we're being intentional about building systems behind the scenes that actually work, and then make sure that our logistics and our operations are working efficiently. Ring lights back. All right, awesome. Some things don't work, but we move. All right, so logistics and operations plan. So this will include what systems will need to be set up to efficiently run this business. And this question is quite loaded, and this will actually evolve over time as your business continues to evolve and grow. What systems will you need to set up to efficiently run this business? Will you need like a system to manage your marketing? Will you need a system to manage your finances, right? There are different platforms that can help you manage these things. But while you're starting out, I wouldn't put too much pressure on yourself about this, but I would still be clear about what systems you use. So if you're a tailor, for example, you need to be clear about what your process is. Your process is a system. So when somebody gives you their fabric, what is your system, right? First thing you do, you take their measurements, right? So that's your system. Make sure you write it down in a Google Doc. That's free, if you have an email address. And if you need help with any of these things, make sure you post in the group, and I will be more than happy to, walk you through how these things can be done. You write down your system. When we receive fabric, the first thing that we do is take the person's measurement, right? And the next we draft, they pick the style. Let me let me not jump, right? They pick the style that they want. And next thing we do is, we draft the pattern. And then after drafting the pattern, we cut the fabric with the pattern, right? And after we cut the fabric with the pattern, you sew, and on and on and on it goes up until the end of the system, where the person gives you money in exchange for their completed outfit that they love, right? So you want to make sure that you're really clear about what these systems are for your business. And why do we even need to create these systems for our businesses? You may ask. Well, I'm glad you asked. The reason we create these systems is because we want to make sure that when we are not around, somebody else can do or perform the activities in the system. So you don't want to build a business that you're enslaved to, a business where if you go on vacation for 2 weeks, the whole thing is in chaos. You definitely don't want to build a business like that. And the way to avoid that is by putting these systems in place. So just start crafting those systems. And if you all want a completely different episode about how to create these systems, I would be more than happy to do that as well. Next thing you need to think about for logistics is, who are your suppliers going to be? Because we know in fashion, there are a lot of suppliers. There's a person supplying the fabric. Who are you getting your threads from? Your sewing equipment from? Who, fixes your sewing machine if there's a problem? Who do you get patterns from? How do you get patterns made? Who are your suppliers? You need to be clear about that, or have an idea of where you go to have those things done. Next thing is, how will I receive products or raw materials from suppliers? So what is that process like? Will they deliver it to me? Will I have to pick it up? Will they ship? You have to really consider these things and start thinking about what the logistics of the business is going to be. The next thing you need to think about is, for your product and services, after you've performed your end of the deal, how would these products or services be delivered to customers? So if you have a fashion business and you make beautiful Ankara skirts, for example, how would they be delivered to your customers? Do they come to your shop and pick them up? Do you have somebody, like, do you hire somebody as a delivery person who delivers the clothes to them? Do you use a delivery service? You just need to be clear and have an idea about what these plans are going to be. And I hope that you hear me when I say have an idea, because I do know these business plans can be overwhelming at times, and I don't want you to get overwhelmed. So just, take a deep breath, just have an idea and put it in your awareness that you need to start thinking about these things, because they will be important in the success of your business. And the next question we want to think about is, what technology will be utilized in the business, right? And we want to include software and hardware. So technology includes your machine, right? Technology is anything that improves the way that we do things. So even your spoon is technology. I know, right? Your spoon is technology because you don't have to use your hands, and it's more efficient, right? And it's cleaner, unless you're eating pounded yam. So just use your hand then. But but technology is anything that improves, what you're doing. So your sewing machine is technology, right? If you have a serger, what cleans up the inside of your clothes, that is technology as well. If you have software that you use to design your patterns, if you have a printer that you use to print out your patterns, those are technology, and you need to be clear and have an idea of what those would be for your business going forward. And if there's something that you need to purchase, this is a great place to, start making those plans for your budget as well, in order to be able to acquire these technology that you will need. And I am also planning to, in season 2, have an episode about a fashion business budget. And I'm really excited because I just love to budget, okay? I love to make a spreadsheet and plan how things are going to go, and, just have everything in place. That's what I love. So we'll definitely have that resource for you as well. And the next question we need to think about is, for logistics and operations, how will I train or employ staff, right? We need to start thinking about when we get people to help us out with the business, because We can't do everything. This is something that we also need to take note of, is that we can't do everything. We always need help. So we want to think about when we will need to employ people, how we will employ people, what kind of person would we want to employ, and you know, what's the plan with employing people, and also not just employing them but training them and retaining them. And another reason why these systems that we talked about earlier is so important is because when you start to employ people, you need to train them, you need to teach them how to do what you do, right? So as a tailor, if you have that plan of this is the step by step, when we get someone's fabric, we take their measurements, they pick a style, we create the pattern, right? When you employ someone or you hire someone, that will be your training. That system, you walk them through and you explain to them, this is how we do things around here. And it's a lot easier for them to catch on. And again, to be able to carry out that process when you're not around, right? So we want to make sure that we start thinking about how to train our employees, how to train people that will be helping us out, and also how to hire. Also, this last question is so important. I could talk about this all day because I'm still learning this in real time, but you need to be clear about which business activities you're going to be directly involved in. So, if you're a fashion designer, you're a tailor, are you going to be sewing every single fabric? Are you going to be sewing every single style? Is that something that you're willing to do? Is that something that you have the time to do? Is that something that you're skilled at doing? Right? Because when you're running a fashion business, there are several aspects of fashion, and we have another episode in season 2 about this, the different, job titles within the fashion industry, which basically lets you know that you do not have to do it all. And in fact, it's recommended that you don't do it all, because when you try to do it all, that's when you burn out, and that's when you're just not able to put your best into the business. So you need to be clear about how much you're going to be involved in the day-to-day activities of the business, and at what point you're going to step away into more of an executive role in the business. So if you're a tailor, for example, and you make clothes for people and you're employing people and you're training them, at some point you will have to move away from the sewing machine, right? Because you won't be able to sew every single dress, and you have to move more into an executive role of managing everybody and looking at the budget and hiring and training and customer service. So you have to be really intentional about saying, how much will I be directly involved in the day-to-day activities of the business? And also, at what point will I step away and let the people that I've trained, hopefully do what they've been trained to do, right? So we want to learn how to let go of control, because this is something I'm still working on too. Because I think for us as entrepreneurs and people who are visionaries, it's like this is your baby, right? So at what point do you trust that someone will actually do what needs to be done and do it well? But in order to get the businesses that we desire, and honestly, the peace of mind that we want, we have to learn when to let go and let the people that have been trained do their job. So, this is also something that you want to start thinking about and start writing out. So, I give you a few minutes to do that as well. And I think we are almost at the end of the business plan. So I'm really excited. And I hope that, this has been insightful for you and that you're learning something new. All right. My favorite part. I'm kidding. I like the whole thing. All right. Let's talk money, friends. Let's talk about the money. All right. Financial plan. Don't run away. Some of you are already like, okay, this is where, that meme of SpongeBob where he's like, all right, I'll head out. I feel like that's some people whenever you just say, let's talk about money. But before you leave, we have to talk about it, right? Because there is no business without finances, right? There is no successful business without successful finances. So we have to be very intentional. Some people are ready to run away. Some people are ready to run away. Don't leave yet. We're almost done. So you have to be very, very intentional about building out the financial plan for the business, right? So the first thing that we need to think about is, how much do I need to set up this business? And I think in the beginning, it's really easy to be like, well, I mean, I don't know. Because I mean, how do you know how much you need to set up a business, right? But how you do that is that you start to detail the initial startup costs, right? So if you're starting a fashion business, you're obviously going to need suppliers. How much does it cost when you start talking to suppliers and asking them, if I were to order this dress, what's your minimum order quantity? How many do I need to start this? If you're releasing a collection, for example. So you start to write all of that down. Your suppliers, how much is it going to cost? Remember, we talked about your marketing budget. How much will your marketing cost? Your shipping, how much will it cost? If you're employing people, how much do you think that will cost? And it's okay to estimate. At this point, it's okay for you to not know all the details, because again, remember in the beginning we said we're making a bunch of assumptions, right? And as we go on this journey, they will begin to be proven right or wrong, and as we go, we can pivot, we can make adjustments, and then we go from there. And I do want to encourage you, especially for this financial portion, take advantage of the resource in the community. Make sure that you come and join us. There will be financial templates, there will be guides to help you detail these initial startup costs. So start thinking about how much you need to set up the business. Also, you need to think about how will you finance the business. Are you going to finance it alone, maybe from your savings, maybe from your 9 to 5, your day job, or maybe from family and friends? Are you planning to receive outside funding? You need to start thinking really about who is going to fund this business, who's paying for this, right? We need to start thinking about whose money is going to be paying for this. And I do want to let you know that you have options, right? But also think critically before accepting money from people, because sometimes things might go south. So you want to make sure that you do your research about the different business structures that are available in your country that you're operating in, and which one you can take advantage of while you're just starting out. And you can start putting money aside. And we will have a template as well in an episode in season 2, where we basically, the budget episode about how to budget for a fashion business. We will have a template to make sure that you download that and put in there how much you'll be able to commit to saving towards your business. Because I know a lot of us are just starting out. And right now, I told you put to dream big. So I know you're dreaming big right now. And I know you're like, wow, I have all these dreams, but how would they ever be possible? But I encourage you to be intentional about putting away X amount of money every month, bi-weekly, quarterly, annually, however much you can afford. Start putting that away. Start putting that away little by little into this business, and it will add up eventually, right? Also, another very important question that we need to be honest with ourselves about is, what is my current money situation, right? So, what does your money situation look like right now? Just be honest with yourself. Can I afford to fund the business right now, or do I need to wait a few more years and have more of a nest egg in order to fund this dream that I have? It's okay for you to dream big, and sometimes you get the vision before it's time for you to execute the vision, right? Because you feel like you need to start before ugh, let me let me zip it back. Let me zip it back in. Because you get the vision doesn't mean necessarily that the vision has to be executed today, right? So examine your current money situation and think about if you're at the point where you can launch this business, or if you need to wait a few more weeks, months, years to save up for this business. And definitely join us in the community if this is your reality, right? Because I'll be transparent with you all. For me right now, the idea that I have in fashion is not something that I can afford right now, right? And I just have to be honest with myself that this is where I'm at. However, what I am doing is actively saving towards that goal, actively looking for ways in which that business can be funded, actively doing research, because I'm currently not there right now, but in a couple of years, I know that we will be there. So if you're also in the same place that I'm in, let me know in the community. Let's encourage one another that we have this vision, and it's okay if it's not going to be launched or executed today. What we do want to make sure of is that the fire doesn't burn out, is that we keep actively putting resources aside for this vision to come to life. So I'd love to see you in the community. Tell us about your money situation without giving away too much, because, protect your privacy and whatever, but just let us know where you're at with your business idea, and what you're thinking about putting out into the world. All right. So that's the financial part of the plan. Did I tell you it was going to be fun? Right. So here we are. And finally, what could go wrong? Because here's the thing. I said in the beginning, when we make these business plans, we're making a lot of assumptions, right? So we also have to understand that everything that we assume will go well may not go well, right? Things may go the complete opposite way of what you imagined, and we have to prepare ourselves for that. We can't anticipate everything, right? But we can make plans to mitigate the risk that we might have in business, right? So start thinking about this business that you're thinking about starting. What could go wrong? Just the same way that you dreamt big, just dream big about realistically what could go wrong in this business. So, for example, you're in a fashion, your fashion business. What could go wrong? There could be shipping delays, right? You could ship a dress out to your customer and they expect to get it in 2 weeks, but something happens and they get it in like 3 weeks or 4 weeks, right? So you have to be prepared for that and start making contingency plans about how you're going to solve these problems or these issues that could go wrong, right? So if there's a shipping delay, you can already have a plan and say, you know what, if there's a shipping delay, we give the customer 25% off their next order just to make sure that we are compensating them and that they still end up having an overall positive experience with the brand, right? If we have a disappointed customer, and y'all know this, you know this customers can be disappointed, and that's fine. That doesn't mean that it's a failure on your part. It just means that something that you assumed would work for them doesn't work. And it's okay for you to own that and apologize and let them know, hey, how can I make this better for you? How can I fix this? How can I improve this situation? And be open to hear whatever it is that they have to say. Another thing that could go wrong is exhaustion or burnout, right? So you could start this brand, this business, or even just this writing this business plan. Maybe if you're being honest with yourself, you're like, I'm already exhausted, girl. I completely get it. I completely get it. And that's completely okay, right? When we feel exhausted, there's this saying that I have on my fridge. It says, when you get tired, learn to rest and not quit, right? So when we get tired, it means it's time to rest. It doesn't mean it's time to just throw in the towel. It's okay for us to take breaks. It's okay for us to rest. So have a contingency plan. What will I do on the days when in this business I'm just feeling like I I can't do this anymore? Right? What will be my bounce back plan? Right? For me, I'm an outdoors girl. So if I'm feeling overwhelmed, exhausted, I'll go to the park, I'll walk around, I'll be in the sun, I might get a massage, I might eat some good food. Or sometimes you just need to sleep. Like, do you ever get to the point where you're just like, you know what, I just need a nap? Okay, so let's make sure that we add that. Have your contingency plan list. It can be on your phone, it can be right here in the business plan of what is my plan for when I get exhausted or when I burn out. And I'm curious to hear what everyone's exhaustion plan is. What do you do when you're feeling exhausted? Are you more of like listen to music? Share it in the community. I'd love to hear what you all do. For me, yeah, I go outside, I take a nap, I sleep, I eat, I just take a break in general. So share with us in the community what your plan is, and don't shy away from doing this slide, y'all, because it's so very important. Because whether you like it or not, something might and probably will go wrong in this business plan of yours. So you want to make sure that we're not just creating these false ideas that aren't realistic. We want to dream big, and we want to factor in what could go wrong in the business. And with that, we have come to the end of the fashion business plan. I'm so excited. How was this activity for you? How did this make you feel? What parts were your favorite parts of filling out the business plan? Did you enjoy filling this out? Did you have some questions come up that you hadn't thought about before for your business? Definitely let us know in the community. If you haven't joined yet, click the link in the show notes, join the community, post, let us know how this activity made you feel. Did you get any insights or any thoughts that you'd like to share with the community. I think my favorite part of the business plan is I have a couple favorites. Y'all already know the financial plan. The financial plan is one of my favorites, but I also really love the part where we dream big. I'm a visionary, right? I love to dream big and I love to daydream and just imagine the possibility of what could happen because it really could happen and it probably will if you put in the work. So I think for me, my favorite part, apart from the financial plan, is where we talk about the vision of the business, what you see in 5, 10, 20, 25, 50, 100 years for this business, right? So really exciting stuff. And for those on YouTube, thank you all so much for hanging around with me throughout this live. This has been amazing. And if you're listening to the podcast on the podcast app, make sure you go on YouTube and check out the video version as well. We had a good time. But yes, I'm excited to have you all. And thank you for sticking around, even with the financial part, because I know that can be intimidating. And I'm so happy that you stuck around and that you hopefully have gained something from this business plan. It has been a great, great, great episode. And I will see you all on the next episode of Business of African Fashion podcast. Remember, dreams are free. So make sure you dream big. See you later. Bye.